Boom, here it is, pod number 45 of your favorite podcast, The 4Bs, Mr. All In, myself, Sir Never Look, Dr. Evil 10%, and surprise, surprise, she's still not here, Mrs. No Show. So, how's everyone doing?
Pretty good, surprising that, World War III just kicked off, but hey,
yeah,
Bitcoin don't care. Look at the price.
Hey.
44K.
Yeah, finally, we're back. We're back where we should be, right?
Well, we should be at 1 million, but yeah, it was a weird week, wasn't it? Obviously, since last Tuesday, it hadn't happened. I mean, 2 days later, all the kind of posturing and maybe it will, maybe it won't, all just kind of happened. Bitcoin and everything took a huge dump, 20, 30%, pretty much off everything. And the only thing actually that didn't go down was gold. Gold went up by 2% and everything else went down. All the gold bugs came out going, see, in times of crisis, when people want hard assets, gold's the store of value. Bitcoin's gone down just the same as the stock market. All currencies are down. But then they celebrated a little bit too early because holy shit, the following 2 days, Bitcoin just went, nah, we're back, undid the dip. And then the next 2 days carried on another 20%. And now we're back into the 40s. Because I think we did hit almost low 30s, I think 33, 34K. And literally in the last 4 days, we've gone up 10K back to 44K. Yeah. And it just shows. We've got a load of stories in here, which hints to why. But I think this really does show that in times of real crisis, Bitcoin is actually the store of value. This is the best performing asset over the last week.
Gold has had some upside over the last couple of days because it's kind of been like this for so many years, hasn't it? And it's gone up. It has had a little flick up, but it's not really
been tracking sideways, hasn't it, for a long time?
It's not really had anything too much. So if you look back to May last year, was its last high around this point, and that's where it's hit. Yeah. So it's not really gone anywhere. And if I zoom out again past a year to 10 years, it's kind of, I suppose it goes like a big U almost.
Yeah, it's flat, isn't it? The last 10 years, gold's pretty much flat. And even the pump that they were celebrating, because I saw some of the charts they pulled out where they had these charts where gold and Bitcoin's tracking the same. Then gold goes up and Bitcoin goes down. But the Bitcoin going down was a big down, like 25% or something. Yeah. And the up looked like it was the equivalent. But they changed the charts and gold had only gone up by 2%. And then I think the next day when all the markets all recovered and Bitcoin went on its rally, gold then lost its 2% and went back down below where it was before this.
You've got to ask yourself,
really surprising. It went below.
Yeah. You got people go towards gold in the time of crisis, but then, as the stories which we'll go into, Bitcoin has got some actual use cases. And it's not just storing, it's two particular use cases which are really quite interesting in these times which we live. So
drop them. Which two are they?
So we've got one which is around donations, so getting money cross-border. And then you got two, taking your money cross-border when you have to flee. Yeah, so this is one which I think Mr. All In has talked about since the beginning of these pods is you're left with nothing. You can't carry bags of gold with you across the border, can you? Your money's in a bank, you're trying to flee a country. You can't regain your money from that bank or your assets such as stocks and shares, S&P, bags of cash. You can't carry it. So it's literally Bitcoin is a modern answer to fleeing a country for whatever reason it is. And in this case, war, being invaded.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it and I couldn't agree anymore. We've seen two incidents now. Afghanistan, where people are all lined up outside of the banks, and now in Russia, where again, they're trying to get their money out of the banks, and then Ukrainians trying to...
Three cases.
Yeah, three.
We've got three use cases, and we've seen a rise as a result of this. Yeah. And you kind of think that surely people have got to look at this and go, it's not just a bubble. It's not just a tulip. Or is it a tulip? Maybe it's a .com bubble. But you know what came out of the dot-com bubble? Amazon.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything came out of
Everything.
the dot-com bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whilst all these other companies crashed, Amazon soared.
Yeah, and now the internet is everywhere, right? Yeah, and I think to throw into that use cases is the fact it's unconfiscatable. So that's the asset that can't get frozen, right? It's bank accounts.
It depends if you're an idiot.
Yeah, obviously, if you store on an exchange, then as we've always said, not your keys, not your cheese. You've gone so far to finding the way to having self-sovereign money, but if you leave it in the custody of someone else, then it's no better than a bank account. You can have as much Bitcoin as you want, but if you store it with someone else, all these, as we always know, like in regulation, all these financial institutions, whether they're Bitcoin related or they're the old school finance world, they're all regulated by the same authority. They have to follow the same rules. And the regulators and the powers that be, when they freeze bank accounts now in the same request, it just includes exchanges. So if your country or you as an individual are getting targeted, everything gets frozen, everything. And that includes Bitcoin. And unless you take custody of it and you have it on your own ledger. And that's what we're seeing, right? We've got Ukrainians fleeing. And yeah, there's stories of people at the borders that can be bribed to let you through. They search you when you come through and they steal. They'll steal from you. If they think you're wealthy, they'll steal some of your wealth as a bribe to let you through the border. But if you've got Bitcoin, you can just keep that in a little bit of paper, have it in a USB drive and sneak over. And yeah, so all these people that are saying that, yeah, Bitcoin's a bubble, it's just for the tech bros or white supremacists. Oh, right. So it's calling. So just in the last month, we had a load of bank accounts frozen in Canada.
Yeah.
Now we've got the whole of Russia.
For people who wanted to protest on what they thought was right, whether you agree with it being right or not, and it was not a violent protest, I'd like to point that out.
Yeah, and now, like bizarrely, as much as whether you think Russia's to blame or not, whether it's Ukraine, whatever side you're on, at the moment there's people pushing to sanction all Russians from all products. So this is now just bundling in pretty much 1 billion people going, we need to sanction all these people and freeze their assets and stop them moving it. So this is now, a coordinated effort on millions, if not 1 billion innocent people that have got nothing to do with what their leader is doing, yet they're getting punished and potentially having their assets frozen. And
that's a very, very good point. Because I've seen that, oh yeah, do this to Russia. It's like, these people are going to starve to death.
Yeah. And ideally, they then will vote him out, even though I think he has passed the law where he is reigning supreme until forevermore, right?
Yeah. Putin can't get overthrown, yeah. But it's the equivalent, right, of us in the UK. 20 years ago, obviously, we went to an illegal war in Iraq. That could have been perceived the same as this. And the rest of the world could have gone, the UK and America are now warmongers. They're tyrannical. We hate the UK. We hate America. Let's sanction all their people and freeze everyone's assets and ban them from the banking system. Yeah. And we would have been frozen. We'd have had our assets frozen and couldn't trade internationally, or potentially even any assets we had abroad would have got frozen. Potentially even our bank accounts inside the UK would have got frozen. And just because of our government being tyrannical. And you just go, how is that fair?
Yeah.
And that was pre-Bitcoin as well. So we'd just been totally fucked. At least now they have the option.
You could have had assets in gold.
I was just looking through the stories as well, because we touched on it previously before. I think it may have been like 3 or 4 weeks ago where I was talking about the Bitcoin ATMs as well. So this is the perfect, again, use case for a Bitcoin ATM, because we've obviously said, get them off an exchange. But if you've got a Bitcoin wallet and you hold Bitcoin, you can then not only travel and evacuate to a new country in these times of crisis, but then you can withdraw cash from the Bitcoin that you've got in the new local currency as well. So you don't need to worry about that.
I think it's just that question about how to get it across the border. So you talked about a piece of paper or a USB, which could be found on you. So
Well,
what do you
you're
think
gonna
would
have
be
to play the memory game.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you could take nothing, right? It depends on whether you know where you're going. So ideally, prep ahead and maybe have someone on the other side. But the thing is, it's a bit of paper, right? So you can disguise 24 words in a million different ways. Get creative with it. A USB drive, again, you could hide that in a million different ways. Have some decoys. In reality, the checks on the borders, there's thousands of people going through. They're going through fast. They're looking for jewelry. They're looking for bits of gold. And they're looking for cash. So in reality, if I was running to the border, I would probably be trying to take out 5 or 10K worth of cash and then have my Bitcoin on me. And then when I do get stopped, throw a couple of grand to the border patrol and to get through. They've got their little piece and then you get through. And they didn't know that you had a shit ton of Bitcoin on you as well. And look, the good thing is, even if you do get USB taken off you, it doesn't really matter. They can't get in. You haven't lost it. Obviously, it's the words that are sensitive. So if you are going to do that, have them, but don't keep them all on one bit of paper.
I mean,
you hide them in one book and then hide them another one in one of your kids, and spread it around. So at least they find one bit of paper, but they're not looking, right. These borders they're not looking for Bitcoin right now. They're just not. These are quite primitive people that are just looking for a bit of a payoff on the border. So I would give them what they want, pay them off, and then walk straight through.
Just think about the various different ways. You could even email it to yourself in various different, tranches of like 4 words here, again, all coded. So then when you go to an internet cafe, when you get to the other side, again, you've got your words. Lots of various different things.
Yeah. Or maybe just memorize the last 4.
Yeah.
So only have 20 on you, and then memorize the last 4. So even if someone got it, to know the last 4, it's still going to take them a couple of years to figure those out.
That's a good suggestion, like memorize the last 4, come up with some coding system, which is fairly straightforward, but someone isn't going to be able to spot, so you could have it on one piece of paper. So I think there's a few different ways there suggested. But because
you've got the family as well.
It looks like it's going to happen. It looks like it's going to happen more and more at the moment. Let's not be naive. We've seen Canada. We've now seen Russia. We've seen Ukraine. So Afghanistan 4. There's been Lebanon with the collapse of their currency. Russia saw on Tommy that what's the name? Is it ruble or something like that? Ruble. That's it. Has been devalued by 40% over the last week.
Yeah.
So am I correct in saying that it hits 50%? That's counted as hyperinflation, or is that not?
Yeah, well, 50% in any one year, if it loses that much of its value, there it counts as hyperinflation. Yeah.
So 10% more, it could be in hyperinflation, and then there's various countries around the world which are in the same situation as well.
Yeah. And it's interesting as well that we've seen Switzerland step in, who are also very neutral normally. And so their assets in that instant, or in this instance, have been frozen as well. So if you thought, yeah, exactly. So if you thought, oh, it's okay, I'm going to stay in the system, but the system over there, well, not this time, because I guess that was kind of like the safe haven of Bitcoin for fiat, but it's not in this instance.
No, the good old days of the Swiss bank account, they're long gone. I think it's pretty much the last 10 years that all got ripped apart, and they went in there with the regulators and they exposed it all. I think that was along with the Panama Papers and all that type of stuff, where they had all these oligarchs and various powerful people around the world hiding money in bank accounts that were just unnamed and in shell company names. I mean, a lot of that got exposed. So now it's, for the average person, you can't hide money in a Swiss bank account and just pay the banker 10 or 20 grand to open up an account in Mr. A. Smith's name. But they only will do deposits or withdrawals to you when you go there in person. But that's all gone. So they go straight there now. But do you want to get into it then to have a look at story number 1? We've got, Woody, when I put this story on, I think the story still says that the Bitcoin donations for the UK military surpassed $1 million. This has now gone over $40 million. So I've been tracking that Bitcoin address. There's also an Ethereum
Oh,
address.
of course, because yeah, you sent, well, the original article was on February the 25th.
Yeah. So it's
How much in Ethereum?
at the time when I looked, it was double. So I think it was about 1 million in Bitcoin at the time, and then 2 million in Ethereum. I haven't checked the Ethereum one recently, but the Bitcoin one is now surpassed 40 million. So this one I have two thoughts about. Mainly it's, okay, great that you can send money to people that you want and support whoever, but let's be like cut through the shit a little bit. Bitcoin is supposed to be separating money from state, funding Ukraine, who are not whiter than white. They are a tyrannical country themselves. They've been bombing various countries themselves, killing their own people. They've been tyrannical themselves. So donating Bitcoin to a military doesn't sit well with me. It's not like donating to the truckers in my mind. That's completely different. That was a peaceful protest, and we're funding them just for food and just support, really, just to keep them. They're not working and they want to keep the protest going as long as they can. This is directly going to be putting guns and bullets into people's hands to fight at other human beings. I don't think this is a good use of Bitcoin myself, but the good thing about Bitcoin is whether I like it or not, I can't stop it. If someone wants to set up a Bitcoin address for the Ukraine military and a load of Bitcoiners donate to it, that's up to them. But personally, I don't like this story as to potentially what that Bitcoin is going to get used for.
Yeah, I think one of the taglines in this is crypto is becoming an efficient means of charity and donations. So yeah, great use case, but yeah, a bit iffy because it's, going to military, the government. Bitcoin is power to the people, not to the government.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right about Ukraine, because even though it is a state-funded news show, I said to you guys I'd done a little bit watching of RTV, which is their equivalent of Sky News. And the information on there was about Ukraine bombing in Russia, or the borders of Russia, in a particular country or part of the country called Donbass as well. And then it had villagers and people talking about obviously the ruins that they'd left. So it is two-sided, but naturally where we live and where we're based, we'll only hear this side. And it's also made me come to be aware that all of these news programs, whether it's Al Jazeera, sponsored by the Middle East, or by people in Qatar specifically, the BBC News, of course, that's not neutral as you would expect it to be, and so forth, and so on. And you go around and you're like, what really is the truth? We talked about it last week about it being WWE. Well, obviously the pay-per-view has certainly started for sure, but we don't know the outcome of this, or even the purpose and ultimately why, or what Vladimir Putin's trying to get to. Because if he's bombing Ukraine, there's going to be nothing left. The people in Ukraine won't want to be receptive to him, and the people in Russia certainly won't be receptive to him because of the sanctions that have been put on them, and the hike in just the interest rates alone going by double or over double, because it went from 9.5 to 20%.
It's none of it stacks up for me, right? It just doesn't. I don't get how the whole world has completely united against Russia, specifically the EU, when we are wholly dependent on Russia for our energy. If Russia take these sanctions and all the words and kind of talking going against Russia, if they took it really seriously and really went, you know what, okay, fine, this is a world war, that energy supply gets cut off and Europe is in darkness within weeks. And I saw a clip today of the EU.
Probably sooner.
Yeah, maybe within days, yeah. And I saw a clip of the EU Parliament and and this just shows you the complete bias, and it just doesn't ring true to me, right? So the Ukraine president speaks at the EU Council, says this thing, standing ovation. So everybody stands up, cheering, supporting Ukraine 100%. The Russian minister then comes on. People get up and walk out. They don't even listen to him. And I retweeted this because I just could not believe it. Because if you genuinely don't want war, surely you have to speak to them. Surely our politicians have to have a conversation. If you're going to disrespect the Russian politicians that badly, and we're supposed to believe that these guys are warmongers and just want to start wars anyway, by pissing them off that much and disrespecting them and just turning your back and walking out when they come on, that's just going to incentivize them to do even worse, right? Like, surely, absolutely. I just didn't get it. Yet everyone that I see that is on TV going, yeah, we're trying to talk down, trying to get peace talks, but the Russians won't talk. They're warmongers. They're arrogant. Like, well, the example I saw where they came into the main official meeting that's on TV, they all virtue signaled. They all had their stupid masks on as well. Got up and walked out. This doesn't add up to me. I just go, is this just WWE? What's going on?
Do you think we'll get to the bottom of the truth of all of this as well? Because what I always worry about is, because of course Vladimir Putin is speaking in Russian, there's subtitles, naturally. Are we even hearing and being told the right words and the right sentiment of what he's actually saying?
You got people who are bilingual, so I think that one, it'd be too hard to cover up.
Yeah, I think there definitely will be a translation problem, certainly. But yeah, I think we will find out what this is all about. I think we do tend to find out years after these wars happen. Unfortunately, it just doesn't seem to matter. You know, we found out pretty much what the Afghanistan war was about. It was about natural resources again. It was about an oil pipeline that they wanted to get through Afghanistan. Money. And they wanted to, the war was obviously profitable. So they wanted to go to war with someone because it funds the war effort and all their third-party suppliers. They also had a second look at why they picked Afghanistan. You don't randomly go to war with an African country, for example. You always go to war with an oil-rich country. And then afterwards, when all the dust is settled, you go, right, so we were supposed to be meant to be putting in democracy into Afghanistan, and making sure that the alliance was super strong, so these people could have democracy. And we took out ISIS, and then the oil pipeline that was flowing through continues, and that country can prosper and help the rest of the world. Well, you look at it now, and you go, well, ISIS are not only not gone, they are in the president's chair, and the entire country has been bombed to shit, and some like 2 to 3 million people are dead. Well, that clearly did not work. Yet, that we seem to be doing the same. And guess what? Ukraine, there's a great tweet that someone sent out. Ukraine is one of the most mineral-rich countries in the world. Not only does it have shit tons of oil and gas, it has all these various minerals. Like, I think it was like number 2 for iron, like number 3 for copper. And this is globally.
But how are they so poor with it?
Yeah, I have no fucking clue why they are why they are.
I suppose it's like Venezuela, isn't it? They're so oil rich, but the government's so inept and corrupt.
Yeah. So I it's just one of them where suddenly I go, oh, right, why is everyone fighting over Ukraine? Well, and why do we suddenly care? Well, if you end up going to war for them and saving them, maybe if we fast forward 20 years, maybe Ukraine has been blown to shit by both sides, and America and Russia split the spoils. Who knows?
That is an interesting one. Yeah, maybe there is an actual reason why Russia are doing it, because like it makes no sense at the moment.
Yeah.
And if it is mineral rich and they just gone, fuck it, we want your oil, we want your minerals, then maybe there is a reason behind it, because at the moment it just doesn't stack up.
Yeah. I definitely think that there's something at the end of it as well, what is China doing? Like they're being so silent. Like they had that little tease of Taiwan, but also where are they?
I don't think they
playing
did.
in
They
this?
they fly planes over Taiwanese airspace every day just to goad them.
Hmm.
You know, so it's just like they pulled out an article. They're like, it's not untrue, but it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you don't put two pay-per-views on at the same time. So,
Yeah.
so I was very surprised when I did see that article you posted about China. I'm like, oh wow, if this does happen, then well, yeah, my theory is kind of out the water. One of these probably is legit, but then the China one, never heard about it again, and it's 100% Ukraine. So I go, yeah, that makes more sense. Like, why do China and Taiwan now? Like, save that for a couple of years' time when this one's died down.
Yeah.
It's yeah, we could, because yeah, we're simple beings. We can only concentrate on one story. They know that, which is why they make sure that Ukraine flag is over the front page of every website, every newspaper, every football ground, every sports ground in the world. So really to just signal us to care, click, talk about it like we're doing now. But
so what do you think is going to need to for the masses to get their heads around these 4 use cases that we've identified in what, less than a year's time, maybe 6 months, hasn't it, been from Afghanistan to today?
I think they're so high profile that it is bringing it to front of mind, because I was in the office today, hence the shirt, and it came up around.
I just thought I asked you to dress up.
Said I was getting too scruffy. It was talked about the donations and the people fleeing with Bitcoin, came up as 2, not prompted by me. And I was just like, this is, we've seen a lot of hype around Bitcoin, which is, maybe there's something about it. I'll put, a bit of money in it, and you've seen like the kind of FOMO. Whereas I think this is people going, there's actually some use cases here.
Yeah. And what people really need to get is it could happen to you.
Yeah, I keep on talking about that. You're absolutely right.
It's always there's always that mindset of disaster happens in the world, but it's over there. Yeah, and then they go back to ordering their new furniture set for the garden, and you go, you don't really have any urgency whatsoever, do you? You really should be getting a nest egg into Bitcoin and then learning how to take self-custody of that. That is the ultimate, like almost stage 1 of prepping should be that. Just have some money, because you just never know when you just get blacklisted or your country gets blacklisted and suddenly you have nothing. Everything you've worked for could just be gone because you need to just up and leave, or potentially you still got your home, but you've got no money. Like, well, how are you going to go out to the shops and buy anything? And having Bitcoin is just an absolute necessity. And I think everybody on the world, we've always said, get off zero and get a 1% allocation. Just do that first. But yeah, this.
So,
I think you're right. There, it is waking a lot of people up. This.
Someone in work had said that you told them to have 10% in Bitcoin.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe. Yeah. Look, everyone I tell, like, I tell them different things to a certain extent because I just want to prompt them on, right? It's and if
but they have nothing in Bitcoin, and they said, what wealth did he think? Did he think that I have?
What, 10?
So consumerism at its highest.
Yeah, exactly. It's a shame. Yeah, all these people, and that obviously I left that business 4 years ago now. So he's done nothing with that advice for at least 4 years. It was probably before I left that I told him that. And
well, it's a she.
Oh, it's a she. Yeah. There you go. It's a shame, but what can you do? You can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink.
Yeah, but at least they were talking about it. They're actually realizing some of the actual use cases rather than just saying it's got no use, no value.
Cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, so we've got 2 stories here about the Ukraine and the Russian exchanges, because it looks like when we look at like why the price of Bitcoin has been pumping, maybe it's this, right? I never like trying to explain why the price of Bitcoin pumps. It could just be Elon or Michael Saylor buying a cheeky billion. You just never know, do you? And that would send the price crazy. But we've got a story here where in the Ukraine, Bitcoin exchanges have had their volume spike by 200%. And again, this is an old article as well. This is also from Feb 25th. It all kind of came out all at the same time. So likely this pump has continued, because why wouldn't you? If I was in Ukraine right now, I'm fleeing, I'm converting my money into something that can't be inflated away from me and that I can take safely across the border. It's not going to get stolen off me. And I need to start again elsewhere and flee these bombs that could be landing in my neighborhood. And here we are. Here's the data that supports that. Exchanges are going through the roof. People are buying Bitcoin like crazy in the Ukraine.
Yeah, so
isn't it?
We talked about this: carrying your own wealth, safety from closing banks. You can't access your bank if everything's stolen by the government to fund the military, or it's destroyed. You can't carry gold bars, and Ukraine's also restricting withdrawals to, was it $3,300?
Yes.
Sorry, say that again. $3,300. So in this article, it said that they're restricting our withdrawals, so we don't have a bank. Yes, withdrawals are being restricted. Yeah, so there's not a crazy bank run.
Yeah, well, it's sad, isn't it? Obviously, that's the downside.
But again, as well, as we were just talking about prepping, people could have, and I will say, should have been prepping.
Like you one of these doomers who's got a bomb shelter in their garden full of canned food.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, imagine if you're in the Ukraine and you used to laugh at that guy. Who's laughing now? Who's fucking laughing now? These things, like, we've talked about this so many times, but we are in the fourth turning. Like, every single example hints towards the fact that we have, and that these go in 20-year cycles. We're in the 20-year cycle where this all blows up. The last 20 years were the good times, everything pumped. We're now at the end of the pump. This is when things start to explode and the currencies just start to implode.
You say the last 20 years, but we had the financial crisis, which is surely the start of this.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, potentially it was. Yeah.
So that's year 0 or year 1.
Yeah.
So we're 12 years in and things are really going, 14 years in, things are really going tits up. So last 6 years.
Yeah. And as we're seeing, right, World War III, that would do it. If it really kicks off, the money printers are going to have to go crazy. And guess what? People lose everything, and they're going to need what they're going to need when everything goes crazy and everyone's fucking lost everything. A great reset. We start everyone back from zero. The governments take all the money. They invent a new form of money, some kind of CBDC, and they start going, just do some work and we give you some of this. And everyone will be like, well, hold on. You've set all the balances to zero. I'm 80. I wasn't on zero and I haven't got long to go. I don't want to start from zero again. Or I'm 40 or I'm 50 or I'm 30. I don't want to have a reset. I've got my wealth. And so if you want to avoid that, if you want to avoid this great reset where they reset all the bank accounts to zero and they steal everything, and this is what I've been saying about the pensions, your pension won't fucking be there. They're taking it to zero. So when that happens, the only money that's going to count is your Bitcoin. Everything else is going to get stolen. And there's so many times I can say it, but I'll just keep saying it every week.
Say it on repeat. Don't worry. We love it.
And years later, people will go, oh yeah, you did tell me that. My pension's gone. I'm like, write a book about it. Maybe make some money like that. You stole my pension. And then just make sure you credit me at the end going, Gaz told me and I could have avoided this.
Well, you'll be proud to know by bringing that specific topic up that both myself and Dr. Evil 10% have officially stopped it. So we said we were going to, but we have officially stopped it.
Well, I hope so, because I pressed it when I tried to refresh my summary and it's still coming up. So I said that I'd check it on Friday, so I have done it, but it's just whether it worked. I may need some if it hasn't worked, I'm going to have to check with Sir Neverlook on Friday for some technical support to make sure it has worked.
Yeah.
But the intention was there, and I definitely did it and updated it to no contribution.
Yeah. Good man.
Oh man, well, it's good. I'm glad you finally got it to zero, because any money you put there was going to zero anyway. So,
It's true.
but then,
Right.
yeah, but because that's the thing as well, right? So the sooner you do it, the sooner you can buy Bitcoin at these prices. Like, I did a podcast with my brother, like Bitcoin Bros, last Thursday, and we literally saw the price jumping by $2,000 in a single 5-minute refresh, and that's what we're talking about, right? That was, there was the COVID dip back in March 2020. Then we had the World War III dip literally last Thursday. It went back down to 35K. Now we're at 45K. These things are once a lifetime type opportunities to get in these dips. So let them bypass you all you want, but you're going to be buying in a lot higher. Like this pump could easily go to 100, 200K. Who knows where we're going after this? I think this has woken a lot of people up. And as we're seeing, right, Russians right now in our next story are buying Bitcoin at $20,000 above spot price, because Bitcoin in
You could
Russia
always,
kind of,
you could always go to Russia or do it via PayPal, and you can pay for your house that way.
what do you mean? Why would I ever do that? But yeah, so this is the thing, right? When there's a rush, when there's a country rush on it, you have to pay a premium. We saw this, I think, in Nigeria when there was a bank run. The price of Bitcoin was running at $10,000 above the market price, and at the time that was insane. I think the price was, it's like 15K or something, and I think they were buying it for 25. And then yeah, now Russians are buying it for 65 instead of 45, because they're in an isolated market. You can't, like, external people can't buy. They can't, because the thing is, what keeps all the markets fair are when they all are open. So you can't buy and sell on different exchanges and just arbitrage the difference. So if I could buy on Russian Bitcoin exchanges, for example, I would be buying on my UK exchange, selling on the Russian one, and then buying it back, selling it. And I could make an absolute killing buying and selling Bitcoin for 20 grand profit on every one, just because it's more expensive in Russia. But Russia's a subset. No one can get an account in Russia unless you've got a Russian identity. If you do have that, you can't have an account.
Aren't there kind of like platforms or services where you can do peer-to-peer trading?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, so I'm sure people on there probably are making a bit of money, but straight away, right? So this is why I would never do it. Just by doing that, you're breaking international sanctions law. So you are now a terrorist funding terrorism.
Yeah.
Even though it's to a citizen of Russia, has no connections to the military or government.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you traded with a single Russian individual right now, with the sanctions that are in place, you would be breaking international law, and yeah, good luck on the consequences of that.
Well, it's not worth it.
Good knowing you.
I would not recommend that. I would, stay well away, which is sad, right? Because I would love to.
Nice knowing you.
Yeah. I'd never do it. I'm too scared of my government to do it. It's why I still pay my taxes like a pussy. I hate it. I wish I didn't have to pay them, but I'm too scared of them. They've got a lot of guns. They're going to put me in a cage, and I'd rather they didn't do that.
Yeah.
They trade you around prison like cigarettes.
Oh man, my Bitcoin wouldn't help me there. Although your prison safe would find it coming handy.
I don't know if it'd be very prison safe in prison.
It would be getting used for a lot of things other than Bitcoin, I can tell you that.
I know, and if you were trying to walk over the border with that inside you, don't know how far you're going to get, mate. You might find it slightly uncomfortable at come mile 5.
I think it'd be more comfortable than being in prison with it.
I thought you lived with it just inside you now.
Practice.
So the next story is, as we said, Russians buying Bitcoin. But how long do you think they can feel this pain as well? Because they've had the pain of not only their interest rates going up, then their money being devalued, then trying to use any savings that they do have to put into Bitcoin at a higher price. Everything's been squeezed, right?
Oh yeah, I feel really sorry for the people that are buying Bitcoin in Russia right now. Yeah, because
Yeah.
you're right. They've lost 40% of their value on their rubles anyway.
Yeah.
And they're buying at another 20% premium. So this is what we always say, right? It's you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Don't do it when the FOMO and you absolutely have to do it.
Yeah.
Do it in your own good time when it's nice and quiet. Because if you
But
do
don't
it,
worry, Christine Lagarde says we should put sanctions on them. I
Yeah.
wonder if Christine Lagarde hangs around with Nancy Pelosi and the other witches.
no, she does. I memed all three of them. There's a picture of her and Yellen and Pelosi. Yeah.
Who's the other one? There's another witch who's always criticizing Bitcoin.
Warren, Elizabeth
Yeah.
Warren.
So there's 4 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a great meme of her in it, isn't there? Like how it
It's like-
started.
These people are scrabbling around trying to make sure their family can survive by getting Bitcoin. We want to put sanctions on them.
Yeah.
Thanks, Christine.
Yeah, which is not only inhumane, it's also so stupid because anyone that has taken control of their Bitcoin properly, good luck. Your sanctions don't mean shit.
Yeah.
You can't sanction a Bitcoin address. They can still take it and they can still move it around, coin join it. But it's good though, isn't it? Because we've linked a tweet here where she's going, our cryptos aren't currencies, full stop. They're just speculative assets. That's what she said probably a year or 2 ago. And then the last couple of days, she's like, the EU needs to move quickly to approve cryptocurrency regulation that prevents Russia from evading sanctions after invading Ukraine.
What would that entail? What would
Exactly.
be in that things to stop Bitcoin? I don't understand how a regulation is going to do shit.
It goes to the exchanges. They want to make sure just in case, because I think at the moment, like anti-money laundering and know your customer regulation hits the exchanges, but I don't think the sanctions were as clear to hit exchanges or not. So I think she's just making crystal clear here that updating the regulation, just in case there's any doubt that crypto exchanges are included in these sanctions. So therefore you have to also freeze all Russian accounts in your exchange. And fair play, like Binance are the only one that have come out actually up until now, and they just went, fuck off. We are not freezing anyone's account on our exchange. If you come to us with individual names, fine, we'll follow it. But we are not freezing all Russian accounts on the Binance platform. So
Wow.
fair play to them.
Well, that's it. You're punishing the little people. Like these people, may have a couple of grand. They've done really well to save that in a hard country like Russia. And you're punishing them for something which they are not involved in.
Yeah. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if this is, we say like, why are we doing all this? Like, what is the whole like bigger plan here? I think this is a little bit of a dry run of how you go and claim the Bitcoin. How do you get it? And they're going, let's have a dry run. Let's just pretend that Russia's started a world war. Let's go and grab all their funds. Can we do it in theory? Let's try. And they're having a look and seeing where the resistance is. So now that they've seen where Binance go fuck off, and there's probably a load of money on
Binance,
individual
are they
stuff.
Chinese?
Yeah, they're based in, I think it's Hong Kong. Yeah.
They do have a US arm as well.
Yeah, I was going to say China will tell Lagarde to fuck off.
Yeah, I think that's why they can. I think that's why they did. But yeah, if you're based in the EU or America, you tell these guys to fuck off, you end up in prison the next day. So it wouldn't be advisable. But if you're in China, yeah, you're pretty much like, yeah, you're not a victim to these guys, but you are a victim to your Chinese guys, and they're doing the same thing. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah, but at least it actually shows, right? They're taking this seriously, right? We're definitely in the then they fight you stage. They're not laughing at us and making fun of us anymore. They're going, this is serious. Like they're actually acknowledging the fact that Russia, one of the big powerhouses of the globe, could actually bypass all the financial sanctions that have been put on them through Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Funny enough, didn't we have a story a few weeks ago about Putin looking at buying Bitcoin? Well, not buying Bitcoin,
yeah, it
making
was
it legal tender. So I wonder if that was him considering this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think I might have said and suggested that maybe they were driving the Bitcoin price down and then actually buying in, because in pod 42, Russia made Bitcoin a currency. But the week before that, Putin said Putin doesn't want to ban Bitcoin like his central bank suggested last week, but instead just wants to regulate it.
Yeah, Putin was on 3 weeks on the run. They went from banning it to not banning it to making it a currency. And then he disappeared for 3 weeks, World War III, and now Bitcoin's the head. So I don't think all that was a coincidence, right?
Yeah, I wonder if it is like, we're going to fuck the ruble off, we're going on Bitcoin standard.
You got to think, he has been lining these tanks and troops up at the border for Ukraine for months. And yeah, it's probably, naturally crazy and egotistical, but also very strategic as well in his thinking. And so, yeah, okay, they're going to slap some sanctions on me. Great. Well, this is what we're going to do to combat that. We'll raise the interest rates naturally as well, and we'll fight them. And I don't believe that they care. That I think naturally, Russians being Russians, that they will be able to withstand the pain longer than us here in the West as well. We know people that if they can't get a Starbucks for a day or two, it's going to hurt them.
They always say like good times build weak men.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of virtue signalers that have their pronouns listed. When the shit hits the fan. Yeah, because like obviously we're UFC fans, right? Whenever you see a Russian fighter enter and you've never heard of him, you just know they're badass. Every single fucking time. They've had such a hard upbringing. They've fought through probably starvation, cold weather, fighting bears, fighting each other. By the time they get into the UFC, these lads, they're probably only 19, 20, 21. They just go in and they just dominate. They just go in and they just kill people. They don't even make a fight of it. They just kill. And obviously that's their elite fighters. But I think, all the memes that I ever see on Reddit, you can just tell when everything crazy happens, like people jumping off buildings, car crashes, the road rage has guns and bats in it. Without even looking at the comments, I know that's Russia.
Well, it's not guns. They don't play with guns. They just beat the shit out of each other, bare fist, or with both with a weapon and just levering each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
I think we're also seeing that mentality though with the Ukrainians and the way that they are being so resistant to somebody else invading their country as well. They share that same mentality of somebody's trying to take my shit. Nah, it's okay. Give me a gun. I'll stay. I don't, even though it's become law through its constriction, I believe they are openly saying, yeah, I will stay, pack the kids and the wife off, and where do you want me?
Yeah, well, I watched the Tyson Fury press conference today, and you got asked about Ukraine, and about there's 4 boxers that have gone back to Ukraine to fight and enlist. So it's the 2 Klitschko brothers and Usyk, and then some other guy. And so fair play to them for enlisting, but it feels insane to me to be shoving yourself on the front line. Like this is modern warfare. This isn't World War II, where it was men on the ground fighting each other. Like Russia's got a state-of-the-art military. I know they're rolling in some tanks and people at the moment. If they want to fly in some drones and just bomb the shit out of you from a drone, they will. So if you're sat on the ground with a gun, it's a pea shooter against the drone that is a mile in the sky. You can't even see the thing. The first you hear of it is when the missile is about 10 feet away from your head. So fair play from to going back, but this is not World War II where every gun matters. It's these wars get decided on someone with a freaking PlayStation controller 17 miles away.
Yeah. And you say 17 miles away when the queue of the troops is 37 miles long with all of the army line. as well. That was mad to see.
Yeah, it's nuts. Anyway, let's get off this bullshit, Ukraine. Let's move on to Mexico.
Yeah.
Another positive story. And this
Go on,
kind of
Alex.
touches upon another use case, which we haven't even mentioned in our talk so far, the unbankables. We have
Correct.
mentioned earlier on in the series in that you've got people who banks won't take on because they don't make enough money. And this senator in Mexico, I forgot what her name is, but she talks about that it's financial exclusion. You're not rich enough, you don't make much money. We're not wasting our time on having a bank account for you. And this is
Indira
where
Kempis.
Bitcoin swoops in and saves the day.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So, yeah, Indira is fighting for the little people, essentially.
Yep.
And I believe that we may be at around about 8 billion people right now, but there's well over 3 billion, if not a few more, that are unbanked across the world.
Yeah, it's such an insane number, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think if you ask people, how many people do you think have bank accounts? I reckon most people would say 90%, 95%, and probably the 5% that don't have bank accounts, you probably say like drug addicts and homeless. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's 40% of the population don't have bank accounts, and it's not anything to do with what they've done. They're not drug addicts or homeless. These are hardworking people that just live in countries where their monthly salary doesn't make them profitable in the financial world. So it's not worth giving them a bank account. So
So
Bitcoin,
you've probably got to have hundreds a month coming in to have a bank account, don't you?
yeah, at least, yeah.
I mean,
Also
UK,
being
Because
in
in
the
reality,
right
they want to loan to you,
environment.
right? They make all their money
Yeah.
from loaning to you. They like in the UK, they don't charge for our day-to-day banking, right? They obviously take our money that comes in every month. And for most people in the UK, right, they don't have any money in their bank account. It comes in as their wages and goes straight out again as bills, and they're largely in debt. Where the banks make all their money is giving you credit cards, loans, and mortgages. It's where they make all their money. And if you can't afford a loan or a mortgage or a credit card, then you're worthless to them. And these people would not pass a single credit check. They're working day to day. Their economies are up and down. One bad rain season or whatever, and their economy gets wiped out, and everyone defaults on their debt. So no one's going to give them any loans. So
but you do know who cares about them.
Who?
Bitcoin.
Bitcoin's waiting for you, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just with a wallet on their phone, cheap ass phone, they can have a bank account. They can keep their money. They can keep it safe. And this is where Bitcoin brings a new era into the world of finance.
Exactly.
I think one which El Salvador is showing, and obviously Mexico is sitting up and taking notice of.
Yeah, because there's no dirty middleman with the banking system. Someone wants to get paid, so that you have to get into debt with your bank, so the middleman can make their money. Bitcoin's beautiful. There's no middleman,
and it encourages less consumerism. Immediately, consumerism problems go down, such as excess emissions. It could be even plastic. You think, because do I want to buy this shit from Amazon? No, I don't, because I can save money, which won't be debased.
Do we know if Indira has any weight in Mexico? Because first of all, without being sexist or sounding sexist, she's a female, and this.
Oh my God.
So never look.
I've got a clip for that.
What I mean by that is she raising eyebrows over there, and are people paying attention?
Yeah, well, she's a senator, so
Yeah, senators.
she's in
It's
Congress.
a high position, isn't it? It copies the American system, from what I know.
Good.
Yeah, so I don't know how high up as a senator she is, because she does look young, which probably usually means if she was like 80, I'd be even more encouraged. But yeah, but she's a senator, right? So she has a decent voice in the Mexican Parliament. But yeah, it's probably only one voice, so who knows what this means. But the fact that she's speaking out, it's a start. It's probably not the equivalent of, say, an Elizabeth Warren in America saying this, because that would pretty much mean once you get that, it's happening now.
Yeah.
But she's probably relatively junior as senators go. But
Elizabeth Warren's pretty much dead anyway, so who cares?
I mean, the language that she's using is very similar to the language of Jack Mallers talking about helping the unbankables.
He's slipping there, dropping into her DMs.
But what I'm thinking is ultimately the Bitcoin 2022 conference is coming up, and wouldn't it be fantastic for Mexico to potentially be that new country that moves towards a Bitcoin standard, and she becomes the voice and the kind of the shining light to push this forward? Because I think that would make a great story.
I can almost
that's where
guarantee.
I was going with all of this.
Yeah.
Just saving myself.
That hole was too deep. You're still like halfway down it. I can almost guarantee it. At Bitcoin 2022, another country is being announced. At least one.
What date is it?
Is it May? I think.
I can't wait till May. We need a country now.
Bitcoin 2022.
Yeah.
What would you do if it's 3 countries?
Well, Russia might be on its way.
I
don't know how you might feel about that.
We had the meme in the group early, didn't we? Jizz in my pants would be the answer.
Yeah. I've not seen that yet.
April 6th to the 9th.
Okay.
So not long.
Well, a month away, that's it. 4 weeks.
Oh, this is going to be the big one.
Well, it might be bubbling
3
now.
countries announced: Mexico, Russia, and Pakistan.
And weirdly, what we probably will now suddenly realise is that with other countries they're probably buying now as well. Because you do not buy after you announce it, right? If you're going to get a stack of Bitcoin for your treasury as a country, you buy it well before the announcement. So
yeah.
Will Bukele be going to the Bitcoin conference?
Yeah, he's speaking, and that's what he's been hinting at. He's got something he wants to share, not only progress with El Salvador, but I think he wants to bring one of his buddies on.
Or maybe
president of another.
He's got a giant bee tattooed onto one of his balls.
You go with both; it would look quite nice. Draw a line across you.
Just going back to one of the things I was just thinking about as well. So if you're a Russian oligarch like a Roman Abramovich, let's say, and you're at the risk of potentially having your assets frozen because
he'll have it in limited companies and all sorts. They can't tie shit down on him.
Have you seen what he's already done though?
Stewardship of Chelsea.
Yeah, he was scared of losing Chelsea. He signed it over to a charitable organisation, couldn't go under sanctions.
He still owns it in a way, and it's just people look after it, so it is still technically his, but I don't think they can touch it.
It's still 1.5 billion in the hole to him as well. So But what I was thinking is, how would they, if they wanted to, of course, move their money to an exchange to then put it in that safe haven? I don't know if you got the time to read that Ray Dalio article as well, but he said, I'd put my money in gold, and obviously we've debunked that. But ultimately, I think that that should just be replaced with Bitcoin, and the rest of the article reads fine.
Is this the one which you shared on LinkedIn?
Yeah.
I only had a glance at the first bit. I have to remember to read it.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you are super rich, right, if you literally have billions, then you do have a problem. You can't because the thing is that you have to go to one of the huge over-the-counter parts of a Coinbase or a Kraken, because you can't put that type of money on the exchange and then try and buy stuff. You're going to send the price completely insane. So you need to be more measured with it. You have to do what a Saylor did. He wanted, and Elon Musk did for Tesla. They wanted to buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin each. So they essentially, what they end up doing is you go to Coinbase, they take your money, and then they layer it into the order book. and they basically buy 25 grand pieces every couple of minutes whenever it hits a certain price. And then over the course of about 3 months, I think it was, Saylor said, over the course of 3 months, he ended up getting his $1 billion worth in. So as the market increases, it'll get even easier to buy $1 billion, but you don't want to buy $1 billion in a week because the price will 10x and then it will dump 90%. And you're sat there going, fuck, I'm the idiot that bought Bitcoin at 200 grand and now it's 30 grand again. So yeah, so for these Russian oligarchs, they've got a thing is that they're fine. I actually listened to a podcast last night about these sanctions, and he just laughed at how stupid the sanctions are against the super rich. Because number one, they have most of their money in Russia anyway. So any sanctions you put on Russian individuals don't affect them because their assets aren't frozen when they're in Russia. And then the money they do have abroad is just, it's kind of play money, and they always put it in these various funds and it's not directly owned by them. So you can't really sanction it. It's kind of, there's loopholes. And then also, even when you look at the sanctions laws, there was so many exemptions to it. So this is why I brought up the energy thing before. If you put a proper sanction on Russia, it means you freeze their bank account. So any money going in and out is officially sanctioned.
Yeah.
They made the exception to go, oh, but we'll still buy Russia's energy. So the majority of the money that Russia depend on is still flowing in because we're still buying their energy because we still need it. So it's so dumb. It's like me saying you can't have your wages, but I still give you 90% of them and just turn off 10. Yet supposedly you've committed a heinous crime. I haven't punished you, have I? You're still getting 90% of your money.
It's just punishing the little people, isn't it?
As always, it's the little guy that takes the hit, because they're the ones that aren't rich enough to get around it. So if you are some Russian guy that managed to buy a property in the UK or had a bank account in the UK, they're trying to put money away because they wanted to move and get away from Russia at some point, he gets fucked.
Yeah. Cool.
Do we want to move on to another one? So
Now,
what's that?
Is it the hack of the week?
Yeah, hack of the week.
Yeah, go on. It's a long one. Anyone digested this and know what the hell it's about?
I read it, but it's one which I think I've heard about before, and this is one which they made changes for in Ethereum. But what I don't understand is DAO. Like, we've had this in a couple of stories, and I don't understand what the fuck the concept is of DAO, apart from it seems like a silly little game which you can win stupid prizes with.
A DAO, all it is, it's like a savings account, but supposedly it's a smart contract. So you send your money to it, and then the owners of that DAO then spend the money that's been raised. So let's just take this one, for example. So the DAO we're talking about here, this was back in 2016 of Ethereum. What they wanted to do is have a startup fund. And you essentially, to be an investor in all these different Ethereum startups, a way just to get a piece of all of them. So you didn't have to find individual Ethereum startups. What you would do is you would invest in a single DAO, which essentially it's like a VC fund. It's probably a better way of saying it. It's like a fund. So you invest in the fund, and then projects would pop up, and then they would bid to go, we need X amount of Ethereum to do our project. And the community would then vote on whether these people get the money or not. And they could then, if they get voted as a yes, they could take a certain amount of funds from the DAO and build their business.
So like a Kickstarter almost.
Yeah, just a huge one. Yeah. And what famously happened, I think they got $250 million at the time, which is now worth 11 billion because the price of Ethereum went from $10 to freaking $4,000. So the price of what was stolen went fucking insane. It already started off insane. It started at 250 million. That was already a big number. Now it's 11 billion. But what happened is once the DAO got to 250 million, is there was a fault with the smart contract. And someone realized you could bid a project in, and they found a way, there's a bug in the code that could just win constantly without the community even voting on it. So they were just filtering off all the Ethereum out of the contract, and they could just see the Ethereum flying away.
So I think the description was, if there's $100 in your account and you request to withdraw it, they don't update it until actually the whole transaction's been completed. So you can literally spam it going, withdraw, 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 and you can literally have 1,000 requests of withdraw your $100. And because it hasn't finished a single request yet, it doesn't do it so it's complete. So actually, you've taken all the $1,100 out. By the time which it's actually gone, oh, its balance is zero.
Mm.
And it's an absolute basic thing, but I suppose this was a bit more like the Wild West.
Yeah, so there's no cap, or obviously looking at your own account, and
They just had like
matching it.
the balance wasn't looked at the
Yeah.
right part of the code like it should have been earlier on in the request.
Yeah. So at the time they rolled back the chain and they gave everyone their money back. But I think a load of money had got stolen before they could get it back, and they'd moved it again. So the hacker got away with a load of money.
They had to hard fork it, and the hacker, their money moved on to, is it Ethereum Classic?
No, that was before Ethereum Classics. Before it's just a redundant chain that no one used.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think ultimately, I think they got away with some money, but they did fork the coin, which is straight away, right? This proves that Ethereum is not decentralized because they had a hack, there was a fault in it, and they rolled it all the way back and basically stole the DAO funds that had already been stolen, and they put them back into the DAO. So this is the equivalent of a Bitcoin hack happening on an exchange, and the exchange losing 250 million in Bitcoin. And then going, oh, can we roll the network back, please? Undo that transaction. There's no one you can talk to that will enable that to happen. It's impossible. If you lose that money, it's gone. But in Ethereum, they just called it Vitalik. I'm like, this is super embarrassing. Loads of users have been trying to fund the Ethereum kind of ecosystem. This is going to be devastating to the network if we let all this money disappear. He, I think, acknowledged that and went, shit, yeah, my little scam is going to go on fire if I let this happen. So he rolled the chain back, which straight away proves, put a gun to Vitalik's head. He'll do whatever you want on the Ethereum network. It's not decentralized. Don't run away from Ukraine with Ethereum in your pocket, because if Putin gets hold of Vitalik, and by the way, Vitalik is Russian.
Yeah.
He will do whatever he says. He will go and print another billion Ethereum and give it to Putin if he tells him to, and he can. But this story is interesting, right? I don't know how much you read of it, but this journalist has gone through and really, like, because this obviously this most of this story is 6 years old, but essentially what they think they've managed to do is some of the funds that they stole and they kind of got, they put it through various mixers and various kind of coin joins and all that type of stuff. But because there was so many coins in there and the value had gone up by so much, even though they'd left it pretty much 5 or 6 years before they did anything, they think they've managed to find some of the coins out the other end and then traced it back to an exchange. And then they've, in this article, named and shamed the guy, which...
That Toby Hoynes.
Yeah, the guy based in Singapore, Austrian.
Yeah. Which again is, I think what it really does point to is privacy, because I think he converted quite a lot of his Ethereum. I think he converted it to Bitcoin and various coins, trying to obfuscate it and try and get away from it. But look, if people really care about your coins and really look through the mixes, they can trace the coins through. So it took them years to figure it out, but they looks like they managed to get some of it. So I think at the moment, things like
proof, because he just said no, it wasn't.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he's just gone bollocks. But he's not going to say he did it, right? So we don't know.
Yeah, but he's just ignored the journalist. So, which I don't really understand, is it said Chainalysis saw the presumed attacker has sent 50 Bitcoin to Wasabi Wallets, a private desktop Bitcoin wallet that aims to anonymize transactions by mixing several together in a so-called coin join. Using capability that's being disclosed here for the first time, Chainalysis demixed the Wasabi transactions and tracked their output to 4 exchanges.
There you go, yeah.
So,
sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I thought CoinJoin kind of like helped it disappear. It just seems that it doesn't really, does it?
Well, yeah, it's exactly what I was just saying, right? It does, but if someone spends enough time on it and really, really cares, it looks like they can track pieces of it. And then I think what they really do is they look at just all the outputs and they just track them all back. And it's one of them where let's say there's, you send your input and there's 300 other inputs and then 300 outputs and all the Bitcoin's all mixed up. If someone wants to go through all 300 and then check the end addresses of all 300 and track through all 300 when they hit an exchange, they get you in one of them, don't they?
Yeah.
Because you're still one of the 300. So yes, I think it does give you some privacy, but don't ever think that if the FBI or anyone that really wants to see whether you've done something illicit, they will find it. And at the moment, like, the privacy is not good enough, because it needs to go from being from 1 to 300 just nowhere near enough. It needs to be 3 billion. Now you've got it. Now it's just a freaking mess, but 300 is not enough.
Literally, like, we want Bitcoin to automatically coin join to flip the coins around constantly. It's almost like you need that in order to have true privacy.
I read the article also in a, maybe just the way my mind works, in a cynical way, that it was a big sell for how good Chainalysis is as well. So maybe them even paying to be in Forbes, to be like, right, this is the power of our solution and what we can do. So to your point, if there is a theft that is big enough, doesn't matter. We will have the technology to go through it all and ensure that we'll find out who that person is, and not only where those coins are or the money is, but then we can also reveal who did it as well.
It did seem that this Austrian guy's partner was trying to throw him under the bus, though.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You just never know, do you? Because I don't doubt he is a big Bitcoiner, and maybe he's just got wrapped up in it. Maybe he was just super unlucky, and when he was coin joining some of his coins, so was this hacker, and now it's popped out where he has some of his coins that happen to be getting mixed with the hacker, and he's just one of the outputs, and he could be completely innocent. And obviously there's no, he hasn't been charged with it, he's not in prison. This is just an article that could be completely wrong. But yeah, it's just because weirdly, I actually was listening to a Twitter Spaces with the Wasabi guys on it, talking about this article, and they would completely disagreeing with Chainalysis, going, this is impossible, they're lying, the article's wrong. You cannot,
that's why I'm saying it.
You could not do this. But then there was people jumping in going, we've looked at it and we can see the coins come from here to here. We verified it ourselves. So who knows? I would just throw it out there to go. I think CoinJoin is still a sensible thing to do, especially if you're Russian or Ukrainian right now. But if you're just mixing your 10 or 20 grand, you're going to be golden off your top. If you're mixing 11 billion, you're going to get found out, especially if it's stolen from someone else. Because that's the thing, right? People don't really care if you're mixing your own Bitcoin. They care if you're mixing someone else's that you stole from. And then obviously the DAO is one of the most public Ethereum hacks that there was. So there's a lot of journalists and people looking at that. And yeah, I think you're right. Chainalysis they probably spent millions on like resource uncovering this stuff, knowing that the PR they would get for it would easily pay back. So
I mean, Forbes straight away, it just made me think, oh, hold on. It's not usual publication, is it, where you want that? But and the reason why, I mean, I know the valuation of their business is like around about 3 billion. So they've already won when it comes in comparison to their competitors, by the way, who are valued at around 20 million and below. So 3 billion to 20 million, it's no contest. But yeah, I think ultimately it's a big sell, it's a big pump, and also I know that they've got some government contracts as well, so they just want to be seen as the right company to choose.
It's why in Bitcoin, like secret, we hate Chainalysis, because obviously they're working for the government by and large.
Yeah,
and they're coming after Bitcoiners. And yeah, we don't like it. We don't like them kind of revealing the secret to the blockchain. We quite like it when the government is just completely like in the dark and it's just a load of transactions going everywhere and they have no fucking clue what to do. So when they build a load of really clever software that starts to piece it together and kind of visualize it, we're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like, okay. But if anything, it's one of them, isn't it? Where, okay, the adversaries got smarter. We have to improve. So we have to improve the privacy of Bitcoin because governments are getting smarter and chain analysis essentially are the enemy right now. So we don't want them to be able to do this on a whim. It probably cost them millions to do that one. If we fast forward 5 years, it'll cost them 10 quid to do that. So we got to get smarter. We need to get Bitcoin to be privacy baked into the core protocol. The good thing is Lightning has it baked in. So when we do move to Lightning, once the price of Bitcoin gets so high and transactions are too expensive on the main chain, that will almost be good because it will force everyone to Lightning. And Lightning is privacy built in. So chain analysis will have a big black hole. All they'll see is a load of transactions leaving and then they get settled like the next day. And there's been 1 million transactions done in that time. And they have no clue what happened in between. So go suck on that chain analysis. Go and put Lightning. go and undo the Lightning transactions. Good fucking luck because it's impossible. Challenge set.
Dr. Evil 10% and I were going to send our CVs to chain analysis after this podcast.
They're going to be irrelevant in 5 years when Bitcoin rolls out privacy as design on the main chain and everyone uses Lightning. They're done. They're done. Game over.
Oh, would they just look at different cryptos if they're still around?
Yeah. They'll look at this silly NFTs and all that bollocks. Yeah. Because they won't be privacy, they won't be private, and there'll probably still be plenty of shit coins pumping and dumping and people stealing shit. So they'll probably have plenty of work to be done, but it won't be on Bitcoin. They'll be just like, oh fuck. But that'll be the thing, right? Everyone will scam their shit coin, put it into Bitcoin, and then it's gone. So
I do wonder what will be around. Will there be like the next Dink Doink, or will there be the next Crypto Zoo?
We've got one right here.
Well, it's interesting because, you're right. The next story is about another rug pull, but it will be interesting to see what becomes the shitcoin killer, which shakes them all out.
Oh, the actual killer will be the Great Reset. When that properly happens, and everyone has to run for the hills, when you look at Russia, Ukraine, Canada, and all that, right? How many people are using DeFi? How many people are using NFTs? Fucking zero. Absolutely fucking zero. It's only...
No one's using SHIB.
Exactly. Like, no one is using that to flee their country. It's just absolute bollocks. There's no infrastructure built around it. There's barely any wallets for it. You can only buy it on an exchange and hold it on the exchange. Bitcoin is the standard. It is money, and all these others are just riding on its coattails. As each country falls and its currency falls, the shit coins and all the bollocks will fall as well, and we'll end up with everything in Bitcoin. If you don't have Bitcoin, you don't have anything. Your wealth will be denominated in Bitcoin. Your shit coins are going to zero. But enjoy the pump and dumps. But we got another example of a stupid fucking project here, right? Called Pixelmon. There's obviously a wordplay on Pokemon. They captured the imagination of everyone going, we're going to create Pokemon, but NFTs. And you can hatch a Pokemon or a Pixelmon, and then you can fight it against other people's Pixelmons. They've all got different attributes. You might get a really rare one. It's going to be worth millions. And so they throw these all out. You could buy a Pixelmon for 2 or 3 Ethereum, which is anything from 5 to 10K a pop. They raised $70 million.
Yeah.
And then no one knew what they were getting. They put out some little teaser animations with these really cool 3D animations of these really crazy creatures. Will all look very similar to Pokemon. The ones that I saw very much looks like they're probably ripping off their copyright, but maybe different enough that maybe they weren't. But then
one of the
really
tweets said it's a fully modeled 3D character that you can interact with.
Yeah. Great.
These look absolutely shit.
Yeah, well, that was the thing. Because guess what? What they promised wasn't what they
didn't
delivered.
deliver. Yeah.
And oh my God, people minted these. So you have to pay your 2 or 3 Ethereum before you know what you're getting. And people were fresh. I mean, everyone had like this grass field. And then once the minting stage came, you press refresh and you see what you got. And oh my God, the pictures of these little characters.
Oh, I see. So further down this is what was supposed to be delivered.
Yeah.
It was like
Correct.
dragons flying through the sky.
Correct.
And what they put as actual gameplay footage. So there's no game. You're just getting these shitty 2D drawings at the moment.
Yeah. And they're so bad, right? They're so bad. It's not even like literally if a 5-year-old did this, I would give him a slap and say, do it again.
Yeah.
I'd say, well done, son. We can sell these as NFTs.
and hilariously, right, there's another link below where there's a screenshot of the founder going, we didn't realize how like badly they was going to be perceived, but now that we know we've missed, we accept the L and we go out and we're going to work with this great studio, redo all the NFTs and reissue them. But then he sends a screenshot of one of the 3D NFTs, which looks admittedly far better. And he promises to spend 2 million on it, which is still hilarious. He raised 70, right? He's going to spend 2 on just pictures. I'm like, oh my God, if back in the day when I was doing computer games and doing animations, $2 million for some pictures of characters. It's just insane. Like, you can do all that for 10K. But anyway, he's going to spend 2 million, but he sends an example of it, but he leaves the URL of where he saved it. And it says Upwork in the thing, which is basically just an outsourced website where you can put any project on there, put it on for $1,000, and some guy in India will pick it up and fire out a load of graphics for you. So even then he exposed, like, there's no way you're spending $2 million on Upwork, you fucking scammer. You're clearly going to spend like $2,000 and pass it off and take the 70. And he still promises, even though he now has $70 million in his pocket, he's promised to redo all the animations and then build this 3D metaverse game where you can interact and fucking run around with your. There's zero chance he couldn't deliver the JPEGs. He isn't going to build a metaverse. It's the whole thing is so hilarious.
Well, you know, someone wants
you want to buy in, don't you?
If someone wants to buy an NFT, someone wants to buy them, just let them.
Yeah. Let's this dumb money run out. It still amazes me that there's $70 million worth of dumb money just sat there waiting to buy these monstrosities.
You know, I just can't believe people still describe NFTs as art. Just bag of shit.
It's in there.
It's smart. It's one of them where it's like they tagged on to the Pokemon thing. People bought it, but oh my God. But yeah, obviously the price of these NFTs dumped like 99% instantly. So your 10 grand JPEG was worth like $100 within minutes of it actually. Because there's a load of people actually where there was a bug in the code as well. So some people paid 10 grand for nothing. And their little grass picture didn't even update. It stayed with grass. It's like,
dumb money.
You gotta love it.
Dumb money out there, right?
Yeah. But then talking about dumb money.
Yep.
About children's money.
Yeah, so I saw this one, which is essentially a company called Early Bird, with Gemini going to be the parent company and the custodian of them, but allowing you, it's kind of like your child ISA, essentially. So you can begin hustling and hodling for your child. Now, at the beginning, that you'll only be allowed to make an account for one. So if you've got multiple kids, it will just be the single account.
Pick your favorite.
Yeah, pick your favorite, absolutely, because they're never going to share, no matter how much you tell them that sharing is caring. It's a favorite phrase in this household. But the good thing is it's got an app, and they can watch it go up and down. But the beauty of all of this is that they have time on their hands. You know, we know that there's going to be so many halvings way before, way after we are gone. And so they will have the beauty of being in those, but equally they will have the beauty of knowing that the patience that they've got will pay dividends when Bitcoin goes higher and higher. It's inevitable.
The only thing that I'd say about this, right, I think it's good, right? So I think definitely getting your kids into saving is good. However, this is a custodial service. And I looked into their FAQ, and it says, early bird crypto cannot be transferred to a non-custodial wallet. So the thing to remember is this is an exchange where it's one way. You can buy crypto. I fucking hate the fact that it's called crypto, but you can buy your kids Bitcoin, but the only way of getting that Bitcoin out is to sell it and take the pounds out. You can't send the Bitcoin out. So I think this is fine. I think it might be fine to get started on. I personally would never use a service like this. I would much rather, because I think you can just fire up your own Lightning wallet, right? You can fire up a Lightning wallet. You can have a million different wallets on your phone, or if your kid has a phone, give them a Lightning wallet, and then fire them Lightning onto their wallet. It's not probably going to have all the bells and whistles that this has, because I'd imagine this will be designed for kids. It will have a load of like achievements to get, and it's going to be more gamified.
Yeah,
but if anything,
and I guess ultimately it keeps it away from them, so they can see it, but you're in control of it.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, I'd imagine that probably is, because if you give them a Lightning wallet, they could just spend
it.
Yeah.
But
I must admit, I think that's one of the good early lessons, right? You give your kids, a couple of 100 sats. What if they do their job, if they share well, whatever, like they have a good day. And if they go and spend all that on some random stickers or whatever, then you go, well, welcome to the real world, son. Like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You waste your money like that. Yeah. You'd saved up your 15 quid or whatever worth of Bitcoin, and you spent it on some stickers, and they never showed up. Early lesson. All those things you did that were good and I rewarded you, you only lost it. You have to start from zero, aren't you? Good job you're starting from zero when you only went up to 15 quid and not 15 million.
And also starting from zero at the age that they are as well.
Yeah, it's like, son, you're 9. You've got time to rebuild. Don't worry. But no, I like stuff like this. It's just if I was obviously building this version and like this is giving me some inspiration, I'm like, this is absolutely a market that needs filling. Having some fun gamified way of saving. I never thought it was really needed, because adults don't need it, and if you do need it, then you're not ready for Bitcoin.
They do.
But kids do. Yeah, kids do need it. They do. Yeah. And
but you also need
custody. You what?
What's the term? Kidults.
Yeah.
What's a kidult?
A fucktard. You think about all these people who don't, save. They aren't planning for pension, even if you think the fiat system is going to keep on going. When they hit 65 or 67, what it is, they can't retire. It's going to take a miracle to save a lot of people who I know. And that's the majority, not just a small minority. So I think you're saying it needs some kind of like gaming saving, but it's for kids. I think you need it for adults as well. They need to understand the basics.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think my overriding point is you can lead kids to this, but if adults don't get it, that literally don't get saving, then you can gamify all you want. They're not going to play. They're still going to waste their money.
Yeah, but I think you're misjudging the mentality of quite a lot of adults. they're still children. They still haven't really grown up because they just piss away all their money on whatever they want. And so games may actually help them.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's a bit of a use case there then. I'm going to have to, my mind, once I saw this, my mind straight away started clinking. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, I'll be keen to try this app out if you make it. I'll give it to the missus. I'll be like, make sure it's about Bitcoin as well to help her understand that.
Yeah, well, it feels it's a natural extension of Bitcoin lessons. I wanted to do a DCA, but it's, you know, you do your learning, I give you your Bitcoin, but at the moment it doesn't go into a wallet, then you can't add to the wallet and all that stuff. So the natural evolution of it is it has a wallet in it, and then I further gamify kind of continuing to save and start depositing fiat and saving into that wallet, and you get awards and all the kind of crap that, you know, most people don't give a shit about, but kids will, and maybe the kidults, as you phrased them, maybe it would do it.
Or fucktards.
Yeah,
Be interesting to plug my computer in.
Yeah, depends on which camp that they fall within.
Yeah, I'd love raising funding for that, and then they're like, "What's your target market?" Like, fucktards.
Fucktards.
So, okay, what's your market size of fucktards? Fucking billions of them.
It's probably like, in reality, it's probably like 75%. It is. Like, you think I'm being funny, but it's actually true.
I know. I'm just laughing at the fact that it's sad that it's true. But yeah, sweet. Right. Do we want to move on to our last story of the week?
Yeah.
A little late edition. It's only a little one, really. It's nice, simple, but it's obviously a little bit on trend with what we've been discussing recently about, you know, buying houses with Bitcoin. And yeah, I think this is hitting more and more people, right? Which is why the Bitcoin magazine have written an article dedicated on how to buy real estate with Bitcoin in 2022. And pretty much the summary of the article really is there's probably 3 or 4 options, but only if you're American. So
standard.
Kind of sucks.
I was going through and I was thinking, is there any other countries that? Nope. That was what I primarily looked for. So
yeah.
Have you got any further, like, you know, in the UK being investigated by some solicitors?
That's all got approved now, so it's all fine. But yeah, it was dodgy at one point. Yeah, they nearly rejected me completely just because I was buying with Bitcoin gains. But yeah, they took the L on that. I gave them what they needed, and yeah, they charged me guilty before proving myself innocent. But I proved myself innocent, and then they've taken the L, and now they're just actually working on what they should be working on, which is a contract. But I think it does show how far behind the UK are behind America.
I was going to say it's only a matter of time, and because they will figure the model out, everything gets figured out eventually, right? And so then once it is, it will be adopted and refined, and when it comes over here, we'll get the nice, clean, easy version.
Yeah, I must admit, it did remind me of, obviously, I'm only just buying a property yet, and I haven't even bought it. But straight away, this bit into my mindset of, oh, if I'm ever going to sell this property, it is 100% getting listed, denominated in Bitcoin. And if you don't have Bitcoin, then you're going to have to find out how to get it, convert your pounds into Bitcoin. That's all I am going to receive 100% of the value of that property back when I sell it in Bitcoin.
Imagine if you sold it in Ethereum, the gas fees on it.
The funny thing is, if I probably sell this property in like 10 years time, I'll probably get like half a Bitcoin for it.
Yeah, true.
Like the price of Bitcoin would be so fucking crazy at that point. Like, oh yeah, your house is worth X, but you're like, yeah, Bitcoin's worth 50 million a coin now, dude. Like, so I'm like, oh my God, I'm getting half a Bitcoin. It's going to feel like so crazy.
Yeah, worst purchase ever.
Yeah, it will be. I know it will be.
But imagine if it was Ethereum, it'd be like the price of the house is 1,000 Ethereum, but then the gas fees are 10 Ethereum.
Yeah, and good luck getting that past a solicitor. Like, Jesus, just at least Bitcoin's relatively simple, but once you go into Ethereum land and DAOs and shitcoins and NFTs,
someone tries to buy the house for a picture of a tree and a sun.
Exactly. And then you've got to like imagine sourcing those funds when you're that much of a degenerate. You'd be like, all right, yeah. So the picture of the sun and the horse, I used to have a picture of a monkey, and then I sold that for this owl. And then yeah, there's a picture of a dick. Yeah.
And then I bought a dolphin.
And it's just gonna keep going. And the solicitor's gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And then I bought a picture of a budgie photoshopped with a pug
Yeah.
called a pudgy.
There's going to be so many trades, and they're just going to go, we can't verify this. This is just, you could have been buying this off yourself, off like Wahoo. Like, oh my God. And I must admit, I wish we actually did weirdly. I wish we did live in a world where we could buy a house with a picture of a horse and a sun, because you should be like, if someone wants to sell it for that, you should let that transaction.
And buy it as well. If there's someone on the other end of the trade that wants to buy it, then yeah, fair enough, right?
Yeah. But we don't live in that world. We live in a very highly regulated world where there's some dumbass middleman that wants to verify everything. And good luck verifying you didn't commit fraud or some type of criminal activity when you've been going in and out in NFTs and there's 100 different transactions in between your buy price and then where you're selling, and you're sort of a million trades in the middle.
Yeah.
Oh man, if you were in my situation and that was what your trades were, I honestly don't think they're going to accept your money. They're just going to say no.
Yeah.
Which that is not good. I wish people could, but that's the system we live in, right? The financial system right now. You're gonna have to find some degenerate at the other end and go and buy their house for the picture, because and bypass the solicitor and just go up to them who owns the house and shake their hand and go, look, I've sold this picture of a horse. I sold it for $500,000. Can I buy a house with $500,000? And if they say yeah, then you're good to go. But you get anyone involved that is a solicitor or any like person that's regulated, they're just going to go fuck yourself. We ain't touching that money. We don't want to be any part of it.
Okay, so I can see that we are just below 44K. So I'm sure it will be there or thereabouts, if not higher, from everything that we've discussed on this week's show. So this has been brought to you, Pod 45, by Dr. Evil 10%, Mr. All In, myself, Sir Never Look, and she was here, but she was never here, Mrs. No Show. Peace out.